Auditor Rebecca Otto, who's running for governor of the great state of Minnesota. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be on the show.
Yes, I know you're busy. What are you doing right now?
I'm sitting in a parking lot in Minneapolis at a high school at a DFL convention.
Oh, exciting. Nice. That's good. So we only got like 13 minutes with you, and I want to really jump into this right now. I want you to be able to tell our audience, because I'm excited when I see stuff post up from you and your campaign. And especially for me, I really like the clean energy and clean jobs thing. But I want you to just let people know. I know you're a former educator like me, and just let people know who you are and what you stand for, and just go.
All right. So, well, I am Rebecca Otto, and I was a small businesswoman many, many years ago, and I ended up wanting to give back, and I got a master's of education, and I taught 7th grade life science in the Mounds View schools. And I always say if you can teach 109 12 and 13-year-olds, you can probably do just about anything. Loved my time teaching. And later on did serve on a school board. I served in the legislature, and I've been the state auditor now for 12 years. I know, so I've done a lot of interesting things. I would say, too, that we've known for a long time about climate change. You kind of brought that up, and it's hurting the planet, and it's having negative impacts all over the world. So my husband and I were lucky enough to, with our hands, build our home over 2 decades ago, and we incorporated in measures to reduce our carbon footprint to help the earth. And so today we have solar panels, a wind generator, we drive electric vehicles, and I want to help more Minnesotans to be able to live this kind of life where whether you're renting from somebody in an apartment building or you live in a home, that you can take advantage of clean energy that will actually heal the earth.
That's right.
That there's really good paying jobs and all this. I've got this great big plan that's really exciting, and to me, that's the future.
Right, and that's the paradigm we have to really change everyone's thinking, because there's more jobs in renewable energy than there is in building pipelines and leaky pipelines up north. And clean coal,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That's right. We hear the politicians talk about clean coal.
Yeah. No, I think the greatest news is this. The financial markets are changing, and even the car companies recognize that oil is going away. And I happen to have an electric vehicle. Mine still has some gas. My husband has a pure electric. Again, we're very lucky. But I want all Minnesotans to have an opportunity to be on an electric bus, to be in an electric car. Our health outcomes are going to go up. Our air is going to be cleaner. I mean, seriously. And if we can empower both homeowners and apartment building owners to make their places more energy efficient, but also to take advantage of clean energy with solar panels, whatever that might be. I mean, when you get a credit on your utility bill, that's meaningful for a lot of Minnesotans. And that money can go towards food, clothing, school supplies, whatever it might be. And so I really want us to do something big and different that's full of opportunity. And pipelines, old technology. We shouldn't be putting any new pipelines in Minnesota. We're going to have abandoned assets in our state. And frankly, well, I'm probably talking to the choir.
Yeah. But it's good to know, because we have
something very different.
Well, one of the things, too, that I'd like to talk about real quick, too, that's I'm 56 years old. So when I was in high school, going to college, people could work, matter of fact, TVI, Technical Vocational Institute, which is St. Paul College now, was free. Also, you could work in the summer and pay for your college during the college year. And I think when you tell students that now, they don't believe me. So I like, you want 2 free years of college tuition on vocational and educational, and I think we're really missing the boat on that. And let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is today K-12 isn't enough, and we got to make sure we have a quality of opportunity for all children in Minnesota, and I believe we should be investing in them, giving them a chance to have 2 years tuition free in the Minnesota state system. There's schools all over the state, and they can get vocational training or community college or 2 years in the state university. We can't afford to leave our children behind. And then my plan asks for our young people to maintain a GPA of 2.5 or better, that they find a mentor in their chosen field. So what I want to help kids do is transition to work successfully, so all of our kids have opportunity economically. And then they have to do 25 hours of community service, which will be good for our communities. And we ask them to stay in the state for 4 years after they graduate. So we say, look, we're going to invest in you. We believe in you. And we ask them to give back. And I think that's a really fair deal because we have kids that are never going to be able to have a chance to build wealth. And there's too many kids in Minnesota being left behind right now that are not achieving, the economic gains that others are having. We've got to change what we're doing. And so I want to make sure we leave nobody behind and we provide for that opportunity, which will be great for our state. If you think about it, we'll have the workforce in the 21st century, and we're giving everybody a fighting chance.
Well, not only that, I mean, I think we're putting our students now into such debt right now that the millenniums cannot even buy a house because they're paying what would be their house payment back to these institutions that are these banking institutions that are really taking advantage of all our young people. Yes,
and so they can't buy a home. They, It really impedes what they're able to do. We still don't have an adequate public transportation system built out, so even trying to get around, they can't afford cars. I mean, so there's some things that we can do to put ourselves in a really good position where we provide for equality of opportunity. And with that, I'll just say we've got to get to single-payer health care, where we have health care security for all, because that's another really big chunk where we're leaving a lot of people behind, and we have great inequities in our system. So if you're in poverty, your health outcomes are more determined by your socioeconomic status than anything else. So we're just putting a whole bunch of our fellow Minnesotans behind the eight ball financially, and it's not okay. It's not. I believe, and I'm running on a platform that says we can do something much better.
Right, and I know Wendy here that's on the show and that you've met. She's a pharmacist at the University of Minnesota, and I think she totally agrees. Do you, Wen?
Oh, I absolutely do, yeah. And I like to talk to you about your single health care system, how that's important to us. We have so many patients. I work in an infectious disease clinic, mostly with HIV and AIDS patients, and I know that so many people don't get care, can't get their medications, can't see their doctor, because of they don't have insurance, they don't have coverage. We're lucky here in Minnesota because we have such good programs for people who have HIV and AIDS, but there's people out there who have other things going on and they just don't have coverage. They can't get help, and then they end up in the emergency room, and it actually costs more money than if they had insurance, so.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's frustrating for you being in the system to see that type of thing, because this is America. I mean, there's other places in the world that have figured this out. They've nailed it. Their costs go down. Their health outcomes go up. Everybody's covered. What they do is they get rid of what I call the politics of greed. It's the middle. And so we've got to make sure that people are covered. Anyone I've spoken to who've lived in these other countries where they've figured out how to get this done, and we can, they're the ones growing the small businesses and innovators. People are healthy and, frankly, much happier because you can make better life decisions. So the way mine works, and also Senator Marty has a plan too. We got to get to single payer. So it's not, some people want to say is one better or the other. Whatever comes to my desk as governor, we'll get single payer done because lives depend on it. And right now what we're doing is not financially sustainable. So what my plan does, the Healthy Minnesota plan, is everybody gets a standard benefit set. And it's a patient-centric system. You get to choose your provider, the person who's going to keep you healthy, the people who will keep you healthy. And they're incented and rewarded for keeping you healthy. And no more, the coding and billing is going to go away, the pre-authorizations, so they focus on keeping you healthy, providing that standard benefit set. And I say that mental health treatment and substance abuse treatment services must be part of a standard benefit set because that's the fundamental piece to health that you have to have. But anyway, it's exciting because I think we're at a watershed moment where people are saying that we can't keep doing what we're doing, and I think that our current president is scaring people to death. It's making them sick. So let's decouple work from your health care, and then if you need to stay home with a loved one, you can do that. at some point in your life, or if you can retire when it's appropriate. Right now, I know some parents working, their kid graduated from college, but they're like, we got to keep our job because we don't know if they're going to land on their feet and get health care, because our kids can stay on our plan. So I've got a son who's on our plan. I mean, it's a really serious issue, and we as Minnesotans in a grassroots effort can say, no more. We're going to do something different and better. And I'll tell you what, we will not only unleash the innovators, people may leave jobs that they're not happy in. We'll also attract the innovators. Mm-hmm. People will come, and this will be a great place to start a business, which will be good for everybody.
Yeah, that one of the things too. I know you're. Thank you for saying that. By the way, one of the things too is you're a proponent to raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh gosh, we value work and we value workers. And the thing is we have parents that are working 2, 3, 4 jobs. They don't get to be home with their children. And when you can't be home with your children, you can't be there at meal time, homework time, or go to maybe parent-teacher conferences. Right. Studies show when you can do those things, the kids do better. So let's make sure that our fellow Minnesotans have a chance of doing that and help them get closer to a living wage. It's not a living wage. So to me, it's the bare bones minimum we should be doing, but I'm willing to fight for that because it's the right thing to do.
Right. This is all common sense stuff for we're not the 1% here that are hoarding money. We want. I think one of the things that we want to be is more generous, and we really appreciate you calling and running for governor. And we got a minute here. Let's just let the constituents know what you want them to know.
Well, first of all, my website's RebeccaAuto.com, so please feel free to visit that if you have access to the internet. Not everybody does,
right.
And a device to get there. But, we have an exciting agenda that will be meaningful for all Minnesotans that really gets at the common good and works to end the politics of unfettered greed, which runs over most of us. Mm-hmm. It's a grassroots campaign. We can, move towards a more progressive place where we're really getting at intergenerational poverty and all kinds of issues, and would really appreciate people's consideration.
Beanie Giggy, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. Well, we're going to be up next